There are some out there that actually entertain the idea that Salem witches were a real thing. And I would like to express my own opinion on this notion. No fucking way.
Great, thank you. Thank you for once.
Wait, did you actually entertain the idea that I may believe in witchcraft?
It's really not that outlandish to
think
think that you would believe that.
Hey guys, it's Kitten, and let's watch that again.
Did you actually entertain the idea that I may believe in witchcraft?
1 second. Let's see. Where's a spell for morons? Here's one. It's right here. Yeah. Okay, I'm not targeting that person, but I am targeting people with that mindset. People with that mindset really, really piss me off because they're pretty much ignoring and dismissing like a whole community of people that consider themselves witches and consider themselves Wiccans and like consider themselves practitioners of the craft. And I just, it just two middle fingers up to those people. For me, particularly, for people who think that like they don't believe in witchcraft or witches, that's literally the equivalent of someone saying, oh, the Vatican doesn't exist. Yeah, there's a building in the middle of Rome and it just happens to have this guy that rules over a whole religion. Yeah, he doesn't exist. That building doesn't exist. It's make-believe. For those of you that don't know, witches are 100% not a myth. We're not legends. We're not weird people that, like, haunt you at night or shit. I don't know. I understand, like, people who don't necessarily believe in it, but they acknowledge that, like, we exist. I understand that completely. That's exactly like other people looking at, like, Catholics or Jewish people and saying, like, I don't necessarily agree what you worship, but I don't deny that you don't exist. Exactly the same. People don't realize that, like, witchcraft and, like, specifically, like, Wiccan practices are 100%, like, practiced everywhere. It's literally a thing that, like, is as real as, like, a Catholic church. It's that real. We're not a myth. It's a very closed-minded way of looking at the world. I find religions and any kind of religion fascinating. So, like, I understand that people practice Buddhism, people practice Hinduism, people practice Catholicism, people are Jewish, people are, what else? I know Muslim is is a religion, but I don't know, like, is there another word for it? I don't know. But anyway, that it's the same exact thing with Wiccan. Wiccan is a religious practice. For me, personally, I don't consider myself a Wiccan. I don't practice Wicca. For me, that's the difference between witchcraft and Wicca. Witchcraft is you practice the craft without worshipping a deity. With Wicca, you do worship a deity, like specifically the goddess, but there's other deities that go with Wicca. But with witchcraft, like, there's no, like, I mean, you can. It's not, like, against the rules or anything. Witchcraft is loosely described as someone who practices the craft, being witchcraft. This is probably a technical definition that I don't know, but witchcraft goes back centuries. I keep saying it's annoying because it is. It's so fucking annoying because, like, I say I'm a witch, but then people, like, say shit like, yeah, like, I don't believe in witchcraft. It doesn't make sense because last I checked, witches are not like fucking ghosts. which I know exists, but like there's no scientific proof or anything. But like you have the right to say like, I don't believe in ghosts, you do believe in ghosts. You have the right to say that because ghosts are kind of not like in your face. But with paganism and Wicca, there is like literally evidence everywhere for that shit. It's not something that you can just not believe in. You can't just like pretend that it doesn't exist, because it does exist. It's there. It's stupid. It's stupid, that mindset. So I wanted to take an opportunity to talk about my witchcraft practices in this video. I know for a fact that I have talked about this stuff before, but I just wanted to focus on it for this video. For those of you that don't know, there is multiple different types of witches. There's like the kitchen witch, there's the head witch, there's like, what else? There's a witch that like, there's a specific name for the witch that I am, is pretty much a witch that doesn't really go into one category. I'm kind of like a mix of everything. That would be me. I don't remember the name. And then there's like Egyptian witches. And when I say Egyptian, there is actual Egyptian witchcraft out there. And I know there's people out there that focus just on that specific part of witchcraft. And then there's druids, which technically could be considered like a completely different thing from witchcraft and Wicca. Druids are very, very similar to witches, like really similar, but druids are a little more specific, I think. The druids go back to Vikings. That's my understanding, is where druids are from, because druids are a very Celtic-based practice. You hear about it a lot in Scotland, because druids kind of were everywhere. Because there's evidence of druids being everywhere, because there's stone circles everywhere. Stone circles are a druid thing. I haven't really looked it up at all, but the stone circles are meant to pretty much be the druids' safe space in a way. I think it magnifies the magic that they practice. It magnifies just an overall energy with druids. I do want to look up and practice some druid practices, because I do have a connection with druids. I have a very deep connection with them, so I would like to look at that. Same with the Egyptian witchcraft. I've been actually looking up like Egyptian spells and shit, and I'm trying to do a more focused practice, I guess, on druid practices and Egyptian practices, because those are the two like areas that I feel the most connected with. And for those of you that like actually are interested in getting into the craft, literally just go on the internet and just search spells, search for communities, like fucking Google search like witchcraft spells or something. Like, I mean, there's fucking books, okay? There's fucking books that people have written of spells. This one I got because a lot of witchcraft and Wicca books that I've looked up, a lot of grimoires, I just call them shadow books because they're fucking easier to say, that people have written and published, is a lot of them are either all just talking about like witchcraft and altars and spells and like different parts of witchcraft and shit, or either like the full book is or like half is. And I specifically wanted a book that was just a big fucking book of just spells. So that's what I got, and I really like this book, because it's sectioned out into like blessings and spells for harmony and special family occasions. I find it funny because the most popular spells I I've come to see is the love and money spells. So obviously for this book, they put fucking love and money spells the first 2 sections in this goddamn book. The first one being love. It's just funny because like section 1, finding new love. Number 1, like the literal fucking first fucking spell in this book is a love casting spell. Yes. And I also like it because it goes into like not only love magic and like career magic and like money magic and stuff like that, but it goes into like spells of the planets and like holiday spells and what else is there? Animal spells, and it covers a lot of bases, in my opinion. And they actually, I don't particularly think that there's like, these are real spells, but they have like a little section for like kid spells that seem a little juvenile compared to the rest. And like they even have like a little section of zodiac spells. And I since I really like the zodiac and horoscopes and stuff, I was just like, yes. So I really like this book. If you really want like a book that's like literally just spells, this is a good one. And there's also a really big fucking book that I saw that I really wanted, but it was like fucking really expensive. I think it was called the Encyclopedia of Spells or Magic or something like that. I remember it was like a big fucking book, and I really wanted it, but I got this one because this was the second best to that. Look at me nerding out on witch stuff. Yay. Another thing that I want to point out is that there's definitely different types of practices you can do in like the witchcraft stuff. It doesn't have to be spells. I mean, there's like potions and stuff like that. I don't mean Hogwarts potions. We wish, but that's not how it works. Witchcraft potions, realistically, like in the real world, are a lot more about, not about like the exotic stuff you put in it, it's more about the intent. I think a lot of potion stuff is meant to be like consumed, so that would be a category for kitchen witches, because kitchen witches, that's a mouthful, are a lot more about spices and cooking and baking magic into their food and drink, and it's a lot more into earthy stuff. There's this whole array of individuals in this community, and I don't want people to just fucking diss us. No, thank you. Another thing, do not fucking villainize us. I am tired of that shit in media. Holy shit. I was fucking, like, I love the movie, but I was fucking livid when they made the fucking sorcerer's person lady in Suicide Squad the villain. I was just like, I was so fucking pissed. Like, when I saw trailers with her in it, I was like, I'm so ready. Like, I'm so ready for an actual person in the DC universe that actually, like, she's actually uses magic. Like, that's her thing. That's real magic. And, like, I was so ready for, like, an actual person that's an actual, like, witch and actually uses magic in media to be a good person. But no, they make her the fucking villain. And then there's a bunch of fucking horror movies about, like, the witch being, like, the bad person and the villain and, like, the demonic person. I mean, I get it, because there's the witch hunt back then that pretty much hunted down women that were supposed witches and burned them and blah, blah, blah. And then there's, like, witches who do exist. They do exist, witches who do practice black magic and do practice satanic rituals, which is like of that nature do exist, but it's pretty much, that's like taking like a terrorist who's a Muslim and then just taking that terrorist and like judging all Muslims for it. It's just not right. It's not okay. There's the same thing with witches. Like, you can't just look at us and just see the bad ones. For us, yes, magic does exist. For me, that's been very evident of magic existing for me. It's a very real thing for me. And that's why becoming a witch was such a practical move for me, I think. I like it. It makes me feel more connected to things than I normally wouldn't feel connected to. It's actually developed some of my natural spiritual instincts, I think. Lastly, I wanted to touch on something that I know a lot of Wiccans, witchcraft, just people who practice the craft, I know a lot of them will probably not agree with my mindset for this particular decision. I actually consider myself a Catholic witch. I know that seems kind of weird because the Catholic Church and the Vatican did a lot of burning for witches. Just a lot of burning. So I know, like, witches and Catholics don't exactly have a very good connection. I was raised Catholic. I was raised Roman Catholic, and I don't really want to change that. And that's part of the reasons why I don't consider myself a Wiccan, because I do still worship God, but I do practice the craft. So I consider myself a Catholic witch. My way of looking at it is that, yes, I know if I'm getting real religious right now. If you don't like it, skip ahead or just click away. My basis of ideas is that the Vatican and the Church kind of did it on their own greedy reasons, because the witch hunt back like when the witch hunts happened, I don't remember the years, but that was when the church was at its most powerful. The church didn't want free-thinking women, so they targeted women. And last I checked, God was about not killing people. So I don't exactly judge God for the Vatican's and the Church's decision. Last I checked, God is very forgiving, very accepting. I don't hold the Vatican's decisions against God. So that's my thinking. Like, I really don't agree with a lot of shit the Vatican did. That doesn't make me less of Catholic. It makes me a realistic Catholic, I think. I'm sorry if you hear sirens. It's just, for me, both parts of being Catholic and being a witch are too important for me to just pick one. So I pick both. Easy as that. You can do that. You can do anything in this goddamn world. It's a lot of sirens. Someone died, probably. I'm very sorry for that person. They probably didn't die. Probably just a car accident. Equally sad, though. Anyway, I'm very accepting of both worlds. I'm very in both worlds. Usually a lot of the spells kind of require like a specific like colored candle with like specific crystal and like specific other things that you may need. Just a lot of candles. Just so you know, if you're gonna go into the witchcraft business, a lot of candles. Yeah, and there's a lot of crystals as well. That's another thing with witchcraft, because there's a very large basis of magic with crystals. That's one of the things that I really want to try to do more is crystal magic, which specific type of crystals have specific power and energy to them. Like rose quartz is known for the love energy and like energy with love. Amethyst, is about the mind and stuff like that. And then there's like a bunch of like other crystals, like clear quartz is the most fucking common. I think clear quartz is more about like just energy in general, I think. It can be like manipulated into like other types of energy. But I know there's like specific crystals for specific. There's one crystal I know I specifically want to get, and I think the smoky quartz. which I know is meant to take out all the negative energy. There's a whole fucking array of stuff that you could learn and just know about if you want. Like there's candle spells, there's crystals, like crystal magic, candle magic, spells with rainwaters. Oh, there's like also another part of witchcraft, which I think I've made very, very apparent on Instagram, is the tarot cards and oracle card part of witchcraft. Those are the divination parts of witchcraft. Though not so much oracle cards, because oracle cards are more about in the moment, not so much about like foretelling the future. They're more about like advice, I think. And then with tarot cards, it's very much about like, this is what's gonna happen. I kind of prefer tarot cards, but I don't practice them as much as oracle cards, at least lately. There's a lot of stuff that goes into witchcraft that people don't really recognize or think exists. So yeah, my camera keeps fucking dying, so I'm gonna go. Yeah, bye guys.